Hello, and welcome to the Amplify Your Confidence podcast. My name is Me, written as NY, at www.dancewithme.com. This is a weekly podcast where I create fun, energetic, and informative conversation that helps you to amplify your confidence and live your life to the fullest. Are you ready for it? Let's go! Hello everyone, welcome back to the Amplify Your Confidence podcast. This is already episode 6. I cannot believe we going so fast into this journey with me, and today I'm so happy to have Gillian Baker here with us, and we're gonna talk about the lesson from grief and how to thrive in time of grief with our guest speaker. But before we go into our topic, let me do a little bit introduction about these amazing guest speakers that I have a long time know her already. I think we today in the morning when I prepared for the podcast, I was thinking back how long actually we have known each other. I think since 17.
I think.
Yeah, around that time. So almost 5 years, and can you believe we only met each other maybe 3 times, face to face. But this is the power of social medias, and I think sometimes universe just brought the right person, and distance doesn't matter. We stay in touch, and we follow each other, we support each other in the journey, and I'm happy to have you today with me.
Yes, I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, so Gillian Bakker is a former international ice skate dancer. After more than 15 years of competitive figure skating, she was able to successfully integrate her sports experience into a career as an entrepreneur, marketing professional, and breathwork facilitator. You need to tell me more about the third one.
Yes, I will.
Because I always know you as an entrepreneur. I think that's the reason why we have so much in common, so much to talk to. And of course, we both share a marketing background as well.
Yes.
So that's how we bond with each other. And now a breathwork facilitator. What I always fascinated about you is that you always try for more. You don't ever stop yourself or set a limit. And I know right now you are a single mom, you have a baby. How old is she now? 2 years
She
old?
is now 1 year old.
Oh, 1 year
What?
There are a lot of work already with being a mom and also a single mom, but you always have new things in your journey, and
Yes.
You try to also help people as well on your journey.
Yes,
And
absolutely. Yeah.
that's what I always amazed, and that what
Thank you.
inspire me as well. I guess that how women support women, right? We see each other thriving, striving, and being a better version of ourselves every day, not only on our professionals development, but also in our life.
Yes.
I think it always come both way, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, no, and I that's something that I admire about you. Thank you for your kind words, by the way. But that's something that I admire about you, is that you're so consistent and so passionate about dancing. And one thing, it's just one thing that you've been doing for the past, I don't know how many years, because since I met you, you've been singing, you've been into marketing, you've been into entrepreneurship. So you're very consistent throughout the books. I admire that, because I'm from one thing to the next. So yes.
We I guess we evolve in different ways. Either we stay in one field of field options that we have, and we evolve on that journey, or you jump on different boxes.
Yes.
Because you have so much to offer. Why not?
And I am just a manifesting generator. I don't know if you are familiar with human design, but I go everywhere. So, and I've just started to embrace that and to love that about myself and just go with the flow.
Yeah. So before we jump in our conversation, I would love to get the audience know more about you. So I'm gonna bring you on a game. It's
Okay.
called Hot Seat. So I'm gonna giving you five questions, and then whatever comes first in to your mind, you let us know your
Okay.
answer.
I'm
Is this
ready.
good? Okay.
Yes.
So the first question is, what confidence means to you in three words or in just one short sentence?
Confidence is the way that I radiate from within to without. So what happens in my inner world, I radiate out to the world, and I feel whole within myself, and it's pure self-love that radiates out the world.
Oh, that a beautiful sentence. I think I have before you five guesses. They always put it in three words. I
Oh,
think
sorry.
you are the first one who put it in one sentence, but it's so completed. I love it. Yeah, the
Good.
way how we radiate outside the world is coming from within, and
Yes.
I believe the same confidence should come from within. The second one, what are your source of joys and happiness?
My baby, obviously. Um, I think spirituality as a whole, so being connected to the universe and to something greater than myself brings me lots of joy. And then, of course, just like the little things like chocolate and all the senses, something that music that I can listen to, food that I can eat, friends, just all of the main human stuff that I really enjoy. So.
Nice. The third question is, if you could make one rule in this world and everyone will follow that rule, what would it be?
Reflect on yourself. I think self-reflection should be mandatory for everybody. Being able to be self-aware and to learn more about yourself and to keep going on your own path, your own journey, and focus on yourself with love, I think that's going to bring this world to a higher level.
Wow, powerful answer. I love this. I have some chill.
Oh, good.
The fourth questions. What is the superpower you want to have, if you can?
Ooh, that's a really good one. I believe I lack in like consistency. Like that's something that I admire about you. Like just seeing, well, I'm not determined, but I would like to be more focused on one thing and to just really stay in my lane, because I'm just like so interested in all of these things. So if I would have one superpower, it'd be more directed focus. Yeah.
Okay. Um, you are so fast. I think you are the fastest.
I just say what comes up in my head, right?
Yeah, but maybe it also show that you so sure of what who you are and what you
Yes,
want already.
that's
So
true.
the fifth question is, when was the last time you cried?
Woo, yesterday. I I was in a meeting all day yesterday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. and I just had to get out of the house. And I posted this on my Instagram story as well. I went to the park and I got coffee and then I sat down just to relax. And all of a sudden I just started crying. I started bawling and I don't know really what happened to me, but I was just so sad. I was actually missing my mom as well because after a long day of work I always like to talk to her. And so I got really sad yesterday. So I was in the park with my coffee on a bench and I was just crying. And everyone was walking past me and looking like, is she okay? But I didn't care. Mascara was on my cheeks. So yeah, that was the last time I cried. It was
Yes.
yesterday. Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that. I hope it's the emotional releasing is really
Yes.
super important. So you allow yourself to have your tears in public. That also another superpower that you already have for yourself.
True.
Not afraid of showing your real emotion.
Yes.
And yes, you already mentioned your mom in these answers, and we're not letting the audience waiting for anymore. We're gonna dig into the topic today, the topic
Yes.
of grief. And maybe you don't know, but before we start to record this, I already told G, yeah, can I call you, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
with your
Yeah.
nickname? That we might have some tears
Yes.
during this discussion. I would like you to share a little bit the story of your mom,
Mm-hmm. Yes.
and maybe take us back to the day that you have to face. I
Yes.
still think the most horrible thing happened in my
Yeah.
life
Yes.
is my mom passing away. And
Yes.
so if you could share a little bit about it,
Yeah, of
and
course.
then
Yeah.
mm-hmm,
It all happened really quickly because it's only been about a year. So
mm-hmm,
last year, in June,
mm-hmm,
it was 2021, and I was supposed to give birth in July. And my mom told me, Jill, I'm not really feeling well. I need to go to the doctor. I've been to some tests and they are very negative, but I would like you to come with me to the doctor because I am scared of the outcome. So I said, okay. I was 9 months pregnant, right? So I walked with her to the hospital, and the doctor said, you have cancer and you have an untreatable cancer. So we are going to give you the chemo and the radiation, but you will not be able to recover from it. So that was quite the shock in that moment. So knowing that my mom would still be alive but not for very long was already like really bad news, right? But when you hear the news, you think, oh, maybe 5 years, 10 years, right?
mm-hmm,
Okay, she was like 62, so she was very young. So I was like, okay, well, maybe 5 more years, 10 more years. It's horrible news, but she will still be with me, right? And what I didn't know is that little babies are not allowed to be near people with chemotherapy because of the chemicals in their body. So they said, if your mom is going into the chemo, she can't meet your baby. So I said, for me, that's impossible. That's
yeah,
unthinkable because I was
yeah,
already going to be a single mom. I was like, no, my mom needs to meet her, right? So
mm-hmm,
I asked my gynecologist if he could take the baby earlier. So I was actually induced so that I could have my baby, still be with together with my mom a couple days, and then after that she could do her chemotherapy. So we actually had a very planned birth, and
yeah,
we had a couple days together, which was really beautiful because yeah, it's one of the few times she actually was able to hold my daughter. So that was really
mm-hmm,
nice. But then she went into chemo radiation. She had 3 months, and it all seemed to go really well. And I was like, okay, I'm very optimistic, you know.
mm-hmm.
And then on January 1st, unfortunately, very suddenly, she passed away in her own home, and
Oh,
I found January 2nd. So that was
oh,
a really big shock because it was just 5 months that we had together still, and yeah, and
yeah,
she passed away this year. So that's only 5 months
mm-hmm,
with cancer. On one hand, I'm really sad, like it's really quickly, but on the other hand, I don't want her to be because I saw her declining, right? I don't want her to live like that for a longer period of time. I don't think that would have been fair. She was not the same person that she
yeah,
was before. So
yeah.
um so yeah, unfortunately, cancer did take her. Yeah,
The,
she died of the not so much of the cancer itself, but of the I don't know how to say that of like the radiation.
yeah.
Something happened in her throat, and therefore it popped, and then that's how she passed away.
That's,
So
oh,
yeah,
but
every New Year's is going to be very hard for me.
yeah.
So, but yeah,
Mm,
yeah.
and yeah, I didn't know about the. Yeah, I know that you gave birth actually
Hmm.
before my mom, your mom passed away. Uh, but girl, I
Yeah.
this would be the most stressful
Yes.
period of your life, right?
Yes, and
Giving
also the
birth.
most beautiful because you become a
Yeah,
mom yourself.
yeah. That's
It's very, very positive and very negative at the same time. So
mm-hmm.
that was very difficult to navigate. But at the same time, I'm so thankful that the universe gave me this baby before she passed. You know, she was
Yeah,
able to meet my baby. So that's amazing. I'm very happy
yeah.
that that happened.
Is it like a miracle, I guess, because
Yes.
when you told me that you could plan the birth
Yeah.
before the radiation, the treatment of your mom, that
Yeah.
it's like crazy. And also how strong you both in that situation to plan everything in just a few days, you know, because
Yes.
actually it's just a few days
Yeah.
when you have to make though very
Decisions.
important decisions
Yeah. Yeah.
in your life.
Yeah.
um wow, such a roller
Roller
coasters.
coaster. Yes.
And it's still very recent. One year
Yes.
is
Well,
is,
yeah.
is
Yeah.
yeah, it's like nothing. It's not even.
Yeah. No, it's
No,
this year, so it's
yeah,
about
yeah,
9 or 10 months. I forget that sometimes too, and
yeah. Because you
time is
mentioned
really funny.
yeah, yeah. You mentioned about the cancer, but you
Yeah.
had 5 months with her
Yeah.
until she's passed away, and it's so recent. It's just 9 months. And
Hmm.
when I was listening to your story, yeah, for the first time like this, I could feel it as well. As I guess we shared, um, yeah, the same thing.
Mm.
That we both lost our moms, and I think in any age
Doesn't matter.
yeah, you
Yeah,
lose your
it doesn't
parents,
matter.
it doesn't matter. You still feel like um, an orphan, even at this
Yes,
age,
yes,
when you're
yes.
already in your 30s or something,
Right.
because something then nothing I think can replace the comfort of your mother love.
No,
So
no.
and especially I think I have one friend of mine as well, and she has a baby as well, and she told me that this even more
Mm-hmm.
um, severe,
Yes.
right?
Well, yeah, it's more intense, I think.
Intense
Yeah.
when you have your baby in
Yes.
your hands, and you look at them every day, and the one that you want to share with the most with, the one that you
Yes.
think that would understand everything
Yes.
is our mom.
Yes,
So
exactly. Yes. Yes.
but I love the way how you put it. In every, let's say, sad situation, you find the light from it, and especially in your situation, um, yeah, you bring your baby to life,
Yes.
and
Mm.
as your mom still can see, she see her granddaughter.
Yes, absolutely.
So
Yeah.
I have the next question, so we can share with the audience that um, how the journey of grief, and I still think we are still learning it every day.
Yes.
And for
Yeah.
me, my mom passed away in June, the 2nd of June 2017, so it
Mm.
more than 5 years. However, I still learning it. I
Yes.
have to say, like, the first 2 years, it kind of like very hard because you still try to deny it. And
Mm-hmm.
the way how my mom passed away, it's so sudden as well. She got a stroke,
Oh,
and I was in the Netherlands, she in Vietnam, and I just booked the flight with these
yeah.
just 1 hour or something, and then the next day I flew back home, and then I could see her in the hospital, and then after
Mm-hmm.
that, I think less than 24 hours, and
You were
she
just in time to see her.
yeah, I just
Yeah.
in time to see her.
Mm-hmm.
So uh yeah, that was very very sudden, and I guess it took me about 2 years to deny it,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
and then to
It feels like
accept.
they were on a long vacation
Yeah,
and they can come back anytime. That's what it feels
yeah,
like. It feels like she's
yeah,
on a long vacation, you know?
yeah, and learning how to accept it, learn how to live with
Mm-hmm.
it. And I guess also because people always saying something like, oh, you have to move on, and all of that kind of thing, so you're also trying to find yourself within all the noise around you, what
Mm-hmm.
is actually good to grieve our mom, how to live with it. I think that the
Yeah.
biggest thing that we need to learn. So my
Yeah.
question here is, if you can pick some most important lesson you have learned on this journey so far, the last 1 year, 9 months, what
Yeah,
you
learn
could
like
put it.
how I learned to grieve, I guess.
Yeah.
I think um well, of course, I have to say this because I'm a breathwork facilitator. So breathwork has really helped me to grieve, because I'm a very mental person and a rational person. I have a lot of masculine energy inside of me. I always do things with my head. I journal a lot. I meditate a lot. It's all up in the head, right? And I think for me, the most important part was to actually feel the grief in my body. And breathwork has really helped me do, where I was able to just cry. Crying, of course, is a release, but to actually feel the lump in your throat, or the knot in your stomach, and actually accepting that and just surrendering to that feeling in your body has helped me a lot to let go, you know. And if just thinking about grief for me was not enough, I had to really learn how to feel it in my body and feel it in my heart. And it's painful physically, mentally, emotionally. It's very painful, but once you are able to feel it and experience that, and then release it, it takes a little bit away every single time you do it. So I think for me that was really important, to stop thinking about grief, but to really feel the grief, the pain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I mentioned before this, because a lot of, we hear the society that how we learn since in the very beginning, like people always say that you need to get over it and live your life, that kind of thing. But I think grief isn't something you get over.
Never over it. No,
it's something you go through.
Yes, you go through and you learn, you take it with you as baggage, you know, you take it with you as like a bag with you. And what I found really annoying with this whole journey is that life goes on for everybody else. Sometimes it feels like my life stopped and everybody else is just living their life, but they don't care anymore. You know, they care during the funeral, and they care in the months and days after that. They still text me like, hey, how are you feeling? But now that it's 9 months ago, no one really checks up on you again, like, hey, how are you feeling? And I talked about this in my own podcast, where on the one hand, I think that's something that we should do more often. So I should also check in with people who have, you know, lost their parent or something like that. But at the same time, you don't want to talk about it all the time. It's like this really weird balance, right? So you do want to talk about it, but not at the time that they ask you. You know, grief doesn't come on a finger snap. Grief just comes at the most random times during the day, right? Sometimes you do something stupid, like do your dishes, and then you start crying. You know? So that's something I learned as well. You can't plan grief, like, okay, on Saturday night I'm going to cry about my mom. That doesn't work like that, you know?
No. This is a very good point, that it can come up anytime, within the month, within the days. And for me, I have a longer journey compared to you, of course, but I guess it's still similar patterns in the way it make you sad. It make you feel like you're missing the big part of your life. And but the longer you stay with this, and you learn how to deal with it, I think in a better way. And for me, it like, I really have to learn how to accept that my mom is not next to me. But then I learned something even bigger than that, even she not here physically, she's still here with us. And what I find beautiful with learning how to grieve is that, like, really, she's still my inspiration to make me a better person every day. And with whatever I have achieved so far since my mom passed away, I find a way to tell her.
Yes.
And sometimes I cry, sometimes I laugh. But now I think it's more like a beautiful way, rather than like a horrible memories or something like that.
It's like, it's a way to honor your mom as well, right? And that's the reason why I did a breathwork facilitator training this year. All of a sudden, I don't know if maybe you experienced this as well, but when she passed, all of a sudden, and excuse my language, but I just didn't give a fuck anymore about what other people thought of me. I was like, I have my life. I only have so much time in my life, and I'm going to do whatever I want. I have permission to do what I want. I know my mom would have wanted that. And so I just started living my life really on my terms and to make her proud. And I still have that today, you know. Maybe
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
similar to your story.
It exactly the same. It exactly the same. I think then nothing else in this world I need more than my mom.
Yep.
And if she not here and anymore, so if she's still here, what she wants me to become, you know. So I just
Yes.
uh like you said, yeah, I don't care that much. I really
No.
want to make the best of my life.
Yeah.
Of course, you're still learning, you're still making mistakes, but having that strength in
Mm-hmm.
you to really go and not holding yourself back anymore.
Yep.
I think that also another beautiful thing about the lesson of grief that
Yes,
we've
people
learned.
don't expect that. I think that people always expect grief to be sad, and of course
Yeah,
it's really sad. But there's
yeah,
also a different side of grief that it's your biggest motivation to become
yeah,
the best thing in life. Like you use it as your fire to
yeah,
create whatever you want to create, and you do it to honor the love of, in our cases, our mom. I think that
yeah,
of course it doesn't always have to be your mom. I know that other people
yeah,
have a stronger bond with their dad, so
yeah.
I always leave that in the middle. But I think when they pass, it's just this biggest motivation. It's your drive to really do the things that you wanted to do and make your dreams come true.
By losing my mom, I think another biggest thing I have to say is I learning more about myself.
Yeah.
Because for the first time ever, um, I was in such a emotion, like roller coaster of emotion that I never experienced before in my life, that
Mm.
put me in a situation whether I want to be stuck in it or whether I want to get out of it. Because
Mm.
if I crying and I depressed and upset so much, it's just not me, because that's not the person who I am. And I believe my mom also didn't want me to just crying on bed like that for 3 months 5 months.
No.
And I agree, like we need to go through that period where we really need to cry. I think actually until now there's still a day that I could spend hours
Oh,
to
sure.
cry.
Yes,
uh,
absolutely. Yeah.
but you could, like you said, for you it like breath work to pick you out of that, bring you out of that
Yeah.
depressing moment, for example. So, and you learn so much about yourself, you learn about your body actually,
Mm-hmm.
how it react into that situation.
Yes.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
that another beautiful thing of grief, it is really put me in a situation where I need to understand myself better, I need to learn myself better, and come to your worth is the biggest motivation for us to become the better
Yeah.
version of ourselves. Because I guess that no one can bring the strength to us as much as our mom. Yeah, in
In
our
our
cases.
situation. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in our cases, of course. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um.
but that's also a thing with emotions. I think maybe we talked about this in the heart to heart, where you are not the emotion, you experience the emotion. So it's, yes, you experience it, and yes, it's really sad, and I could cry for hours, but I also know that it goes through my body, and then I release it, and then I can be okay again. Right? So you
Yeah.
experience the emotion, but you are not always sad. And I think that
Mm.
people expect you to always be sad, but I'm not always
Mm.
sad. I
Yeah.
experience sadness.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's this space, right?
Yeah. And like you said, people always associate grief with like the sadness, but they're much
Yes.
more than being sad or despair. It can be
Mm-hmm.
joy, it can be the moment of pride, the moments
Yeah.
that you honor the love of your mom,
Yeah.
and so much joy actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
you can have, because uh, I'm sure you do the same thing. You would spend time to just talk with your mom, right?
Yeah.
I don't know, journaling or just talk out loud or
Hmm.
look at the sky
Yeah, yeah,
or
yeah.
the
I do that too. I do that too,
uh,
and we make jokes sometimes. Sometimes
yeah.
I see I her number is 444. So whenever
Uh,
when she passed away, I kept seeing 444, and I had to pick up her ashes, and I was very sad. And then I drove to the grocery store next to me in the car, and I was driving. I was like, "Here we are, Mom. We're driving." Just making jokes with her ashes, I guess. And then I went to the grocery store, and I walked past the door, and I saw the house number 444, 4A, 4B, 4C. I was just laughing so hard. I was like, you're listening, you're watching, and I know you're sending me these signals, right? And whether you believe in this or not, I don't really care. But for me in that moment, it was confirmation that we were joking with each
yeah.
other, and she was just there. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I guess the same thing. Before my mom passed away, I'm a super rational person as well. For me, I didn't tap into the spiritual world or
Mhm.
before that, but see my mom passed away. There's so many things that happened that I couldn't explain. So
Mhm.
I choose to believe, and
Yes, it's
and
a
I choose
choice.
it's a
Yeah.
choice. Like
Yes.
2-3 weeks ago, I did a meditation, and that was the first time ever since she passed away. I don't know what happened during that meditation, but for the first time ever, I felt she was with me. It was
Yeah.
so it was so real that I was crying so much.
Crying. Yeah.
But at the same time, in my head, I was saying that I cannot believe that she was here with me, because the
Hmm.
moments and when she passed away 5 years ago, if I ever could have any wish, the only wish I would wish is that, can I
Yeah.
just meet my mom and then feel
Yes.
her hug for even just 1 second.
A second. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like every day for I still wish that.
Yeah.
And in that meditation, suddenly I would feel her warmness, her
Yeah.
embrace
Yeah.
behind me.
Yeah.
And as much as I was just sobbing, I'm just like so
So
happy. And
happy, right? Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, I know
And
this feeling so well. Yeah.
yeah, and I choose that. Oh my
Yes.
God, this
It's
is
your
if
truth.
yes, if this is the
Yeah.
way how can I connect with my mom, then I could do
Mm-hmm.
it. And I find
Yeah.
it so beautiful, it's so special.
Mm-hmm.
uh, and then this make me believe whatever wherever she is, she's always here with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
um
absolutely. I am already a very spiritual person. And again, I don't want to
mm,
put my beliefs onto someone else. So if you're
mm-hmm,
not into that, you're not into that. And that's totally fine. But for me, it gives me a lot of comfort, like the story you just shared. Just having that knowledge that life doesn't end with our physical senses. I know that there is a bigger energy out there that we are all connected to, and I fully believe that we have a body and we have a soul, and when your body dies, your soul continues to live on. And I know that because of these experiences that you just shared with me as well, where when you're so desperate and you talk to that and you really experience them around you in whatever way it is, right? I
mm,
was so desperate one time, I started crying on my balcony. I was like, I need you to show me that you're here. I want to see a butterfly. And then a black butterfly flew past my balcony. And to me, it doesn't matter if that's coincidence. I don't believe in coincidence, but to me, that was a sign, like, you're hearing me. I was so desperate. I need to see you in form of a butterfly. And then it just came flying out of nowhere. And for me, that gives me so much comfort, just to know that she is not fully gone, and that I can still tap into her energy when I want to, and that she's here to support me. And right when we were just talking about the 444, it was 11:44 on the clock, right? So there's little signs everywhere, and I pick up on that, and I love
mm,
it. And so
mm,
that gives me comfort, knowing that it's still
mm,
here. And whether you believe in that or not, I don't care. For me, it's my truth, and
mm,
I take comfort in it. So yeah.
mm. Very
But I'm happy
beautiful.
to know that you also have these experiences.
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy. It's not only me, sometimes with the family as well.
Yes.
But everyone have, like you said, grief is so personal. so
Mm-hmm.
personal. Everyone has different way of
Yeah.
how to honor the loss of their parents.
Yeah.
Um, so it yeah, I guess the journey really different for everyone, but I believe that we should accept it's so different
Mm-hmm.
to you and me,
Yes.
and our friends also need to
Yep.
know that as well. Our family needs to know that as well.
Yeah.
uh, I learned it a lot, like even how to communicate with my friends and my family, because
Mm-hmm.
I also just tell them like, hey, maybe instead of saying that I have to get over it because I don't think I can never get over my mom,
Mm-hmm.
you can be here and support me instead of telling me that
Yes.
instead of doing that I should
Yeah.
do this.
Yeah.
So because it's just so personal to me, and I can never get over my mom.
No, no, and it's a
Yeah,
weird feeling, and
yeah,
I compare it to motherhood myself because when you have a baby, all of a sudden you belong to like the cult of motherhood, right? When you can only understand what it's like to be a mom when you are a mom yourself,
yeah,
and that I know that's not very inclusive, and I know that's not a nice thing to say, but it for me it really is the truth. And the same thing I felt with losing my parent, where I did not really fully understand what it felt until I actually lost my own parent, right?
yeah. I
So it's
know.
like, yes, you can understand it kind of from my point of view, but that's a rational understanding. But experience it yourself, you can feel it. Yeah, I can
Yeah,
actually feel your pain when you are talking about your mom. I can feel
yeah.
your pain, and so can you with
Yeah,
me.
just started to talk about it in the first in the beginning of this conversation. I already feel like, oh, I
Yeah.
can actually cry, but I
Yes.
gonna breathe in, breathe out, so we are not like crying over the podcast.
Sobbing.
Okay, but let's go with the last thing, I think,
Yeah.
because we mentioned the lesson we learned from grief, and we forget a little bit the second part here. We put here how to thrive in times of
Mm.
grief. I really see the last 9 months you have been also doing a lot of things as well,
Yeah.
um, and you did mention this actually the biggest motivation you ever have in your life,
Yeah.
to even doing something better, bigger than you. So
Yes.
if you could share that with us as the closing
Final.
up for our
Yes.
conversation.
Well, like I said, I think we expect grief to be really sad all the time, but there is more to it, and it is my biggest motivation. And then at the same time, you are honoring someone, and your perception of time changes. All of a sudden, it was very clear to me that we are not here for an infinite time, and that every single day is really precious, and every single moment is really precious, and there's really nothing else that we have. And so I have decided to outsource everything that I don't like doing, from groceries to my administration to cleaning the house. I have outsourced everything. I was like, I am no longer spending my time and my energy on things that I do not enjoy doing, right? So I made very clear decisions, and I prioritized my life more than ever before. And I think in that way you can thrive, because then you can focus on the things that truly matter, which is your family, your kids, if you have any, your health. Health is so important to keep your body. I actually went to the dentist for the first time in 12 years. I was like, I am not doing this to my body. I want to be healthy. And so I actually, my mom was also my motivation to go to the dentist, right? I'm not skipping on those things anymore. So you can thrive even when you are sad, because it is your biggest drive. So I think prioritizing my life, taking care of my health, and spending time and energy on things that matter, so your health, your family, kids, friends, and creating a business that I really love, and not spending time on things that just don't matter, like work emails. Like, who cares, that's not what this life is about. And to have that moment of realization every single day. Because when I look at her picture, I'm like, oh, yeah, that's right. We are here for a short time. So I need to get this done today. Stop being so
Yeah,
fearful, right? Just you become
yeah,
really fearless, is what you become.
yeah.
So, yeah, that's how you
Also,
can thrive.
and you realize, um, the fear is there, but then you're like, okay, I can
So what?
overcome it. Yeah.
Yeah, you can work through
Yeah.
it. So you grow exponentially when when your parent passes, because you just, yeah, you see the fear. Obviously, you're scared of doing things, but you do it anyway, which is something that you might not have done before.
Yeah, yeah, and I, I, if I put fear in front of me, I
Hmm.
think yes, of course, you always afraid of something, um, but again, if I thinking of the thing that I lost my mom, for example, then it not
Yeah, it's so
comparable.
small.
Yeah,
Yeah,
everything
it's
so
like
small.
so relative, right? Yeah, you
Yeah,
have to think of things like that. Yeah, they're so small compared to what
yeah,
actually happens and what's important.
yeah, yeah. I love the way how you put it. Like, time is limited. What we have on the earth and what we can do, and we prioritize what important to us. And
Hmm.
you have mentioned the the three most important thing is the people that we love,
Yeah.
the work that we love, and then our health.
Yeah.
Because without being healthy, I guess, um, we cannot achieve
No.
or cannot do anything, even cannot take care of the people that we love.
And I don't just mean like physical health, right? Right?
Yeah,
Like eating healthy,
mental
but I
health.
also mean mental health and physical,
Exactly.
emotional health. Really, it's a holistic way of living. So, yeah, if you take care of that,
Yeah.
that's your most important thing that you have in your life.
Oh, once if everyone is listening to this conversation and you're going through some loss in your life, not parents, maybe someone that you really love,
Hmm.
or um, spend time on it. I guess people always feel like a guilt, be feeling guilty or like ashamed
Hmm.
that why we spend so much time on these, but you need time to process
Yes.
it too. And with all the time that you actually spend on it, you grow,
Yeah.
because like
Yes.
we just discussed, what good
Hmm.
for us, what not good for us, both physically, mentally, personal life, professional life. I think we just put time to grieve, put time to grow. That what
Yeah. Oh,
I
I like that. Time to grieve, time to grow. Yes, I like that. But it's true. Yeah, it is true. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think that would be the best way to end our conversation today.
Yes.
Yeah. How about if the audience want to find you and know more about the work that you are doing?
Yeah, you can find me at Gillian Bakker on Instagram, and I'm there most of the time. So if you need me,
Mm-hmm.
I will be there. And especially if you want to continue this conversation, don't be afraid to send a DM or something, because I know we can support each other always. So.
Thank you so much. I'm gonna put all the information of our lovely guest speaker Gillian in our description of our podcast. Once again, thank you so much for joining me today. For everyone that listening, thank you. I hope to see you at the next episode, and don't forget to follow the Amplify Your Confident podcast on Spotify, Apple, Google, and then give me a rating 5 star with a feedback so more people can find my podcast. Also send me feedback and questions on Amplify Your Confident underscore podcast. And wherever you are in the world, I wish you a very wonderful day. Bye guys.